Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Another Friday inside the Lock Shop. What's up, everybody? Thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, listening to the podcast later on, very much appreciated. The Lock Shop on the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network, brought to you by Coolbet. Sign up for an account today. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Huss, what's going on, buddy? How'd last night go for you?
Well, last night was a late one. We had the 9 p.m. start with the Jets out in Anaheim. But it was a nice win for the Jets. Very important. I think the WST chat will be a little more calm, shall we say, after that win and Calgary's regulation loss. But to be perfectly honest, man, I'm still buzzing about Rory McIlroy's drive on 18 yesterday at the match play. I was sweating out a parlay along with you, watching live, and I still can't even believe what I saw. That might be the best shot I've ever seen, period. And I know DJ had, he flew a green, on a par 4, and I want to say Mayakoba a couple years back, but that was just, there's only one guy in the world that could do that, and that was Rory McIlroy. And funny, there was so much talk about him not liking the new driver or whatever, and apparently he took like an inch or half an inch off the driver, and did that yesterday. Tell you what, and we'll get to match play picks in a minute just for the late game. This weekend is going to be incredible. Going into the event, we talked about how rarely do we see many of the top seeds going through. A ton of the top seeds right now are poised to get out, and it's going to be an absolute shame. Who knows? Maybe this is great. Maybe this will save the event, because right now it's not on the schedule for next year. This could be the last match play event for the foreseeable future. I think this is going to be so good this year that they may hopefully reconsider and keep this format somewhere on the event.
You have to have it somewhere on the schedule, right? Like, you have to. One time. You got to have it once. Like
we love the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup so much. The nature of the head-to-head play. I'm with you. They got to keep it. And certainly for lock shoppers, it's the best betting event of the year. You've got all these matchups 3 days in a row, and I can't wait to see what Saturday morning looks like. We'll know probably around 6 p.m. tonight, the full matchups. And obviously, if guys are tied, then they'll have, sudden death playoffs at the end of it. So
which will be awesome.
Hit the tube a little later on for the match play. It is going to be awesome.
I hit that little parlay yesterday in the match play. Nailed our NCAA picks yesterday. That was nice. Yeah. I got the Lock Shop play of the day. I finally hit 6 of 7 yesterday. Missed on Seattle. Had Seattle. They lost to Nashville. Got a point. So for their playoff push, it's still good for Seattle, but just missed. In a shootout. That's right.
Run the table. Could have easily run the table on that.
Yeah, that's right. That was tough.
I had major regrets last night. We went to the bar a little early because of those earlier games, and the place has the center ice. So we were watching a bit of the Nashville-Seattle. Then we were watching the Calgary game. But I was just thinking, that Seattle-Nashville game was guaranteed 3-point game. There was no way. And the Flames, the poor Flames, they lose. Winnipeg wins. Nashville wins. And Seattle gets a point. Absolute worst case scenario for the Calgary Flames last night. But anyways, going to be an interesting run of the way. Jets have the Kings tomorrow afternoon, and then the Sharks, and a couple more days off. We'll see what happens with these games in hand. But Seattle's got that weird schedule. That was a game yesterday in Nashville. They're playing again in Nashville tomorrow. So the back-to-back, not a home and home, back-to-back in Nashville. And Seattle right now, they got 2 games in hand on the Jets. They're only 1 point up right now. So they have not entirely clinched their ticket to the tournament as of yet.
We'll give you some March Madness picks a little bit later on. We'll circle back around to the match play at the end of the episode. I did feel bad for Jake yesterday watching Arkansas get pumped by UConn. I was just like, I'm happy they covered, but for a guy who really was on the Razorbacks from family reasons, to see them get shit kicked like that was tough. That was tough yesterday, but still cashed it.
The group chat was lit. He said, "Well, at least I had fun." That was
that's right. A light night in the National Hockey League, Huss, but Actually, my picks aren't updated here. These are yesterday's picks. Your picks are good to go. Give me your picks here. I'll update mine as we go through this.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's only 3 games tonight. And if you're listening on the podcast, is Jersey at Buffalo. Jersey's a minus 188 money line favorite. Buffalo plus 158 is a home dog. Islanders at Blue Jackets. Islanders a big favorite at minus 228. And then you got the Avalanche at home to the Coyotes at minus 417. I mean, unless you want to dabble in the puck line, there's not a lot to bet tonight. So I'm actually going to some totals. Jersey Buffalo, the total is 7. Both of these teams can score. Buffalo in particular has a very tough time keeping the puck out of their own net. And I don't mind the over 7. It is plus 102, but you can also get this back to 6.5. And the over is minus 147. Now, I wouldn't normally do that, but in this case, I'm going to try and put together a 2-gamer. And I'm going to do the same thing with the Islanders Blue Jackets. Now, the over 6 is minus 118. Under 6 is even money. But if you take it to 6.5, the under only goes to minus 125. So I think I'll play those. I might play the Islanders Blue Jackets game on its own on the under of 6.5. But I'm just going to tweak those both a half goal, take the over Buffalo Jersey game over 6.5, along with the Islanders under 6.5. And I think part of this is I really do think that the Islanders defense is elite, and that's exactly what they need to rely on right now. They had that massive offensive explosion earlier in the week against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that was a little bit of an aberration. I think we're getting a little bit better number on the under right now for this. So if you take the over 6.5 in Jersey Buffalo and the under 6.5 in Islanders Blue Jackets, comes out to a plus 202 parlay. So essentially paying you back 2-1 on the bet. So I think that's what I'm going to settle on for the National Hockey League tonight. Those 2 adjusted totals, put them together for a 2-1 parlay.
Yeah, you get on New Jersey in regulation tonight, gets you to minus 118 against the Buffalo Sabres. Then Colorado over Arizona, if you're trying to get something from that game. Colorado over 3.5 goals at minus 171. It actually works out to a plus 190 parlay tonight. So a little bit below where you're at with that plus 202. There's like 10 games left in the season. And I still sit here and go, man, how is New Jersey this good? Like, I just, talk about all these other teams. You had the 3 in the 1 division, and then obviously Carolina's been good for a while. Expected the Rangers to be this good. And the Devils, buddy. I mean, Dougie Hamilton's having a great season. Hughes has been an absolute stud. Bunch of other guys have stepped up, and they've actually had some pretty good goaltending. I'm very fascinated to see what kind of issues New Jersey could possibly cause for people in the postseason.
Well, and what's funny is that, listen, they're just 2 points back at Carolina right now for first place in that division. I'm hoping that Carolina hangs on because I want to see that Jersey Rangers first round matchup.
Yes.
And it looks like Jersey right now is going to have they'll have home ice. I mean, they're 4 points up on the Rangers with a game in hand. And man, they can score goals. They are such a fun team to watch. We actually haven't seen them in Winnipeg yet this year. We're going to get them next week when the following week when the Jets get back home from the road. So I am looking forward to that. And that's part of the reason why it's important for the Jets to win a couple of these games on the road right now. So they're not life and death for points against a couple better teams. They've got Jersey, they've got Colorado, they got Minnesota down that stretch. And then what was thought to be a massive game with the Calgary Flames maybe won't be as big. But, Jersey has been one of the great stories of the league this year, 45-18-8. And I like them to light the lamp tonight early and often against the Buffalo Sabres.
All right, let's slide over to match play here. Like we said, light night in the NHL, 3 picks. I will have a lock shop play of the day coming along a little bit later on over on all the Cool Bet socials. Huss, you got a 2-gamer here. I got a 3-gamer because I threw Corey Connors in. You're on Connors here as well. Big one today. I mean, he's won one, he's lost one, going up against Thompson, who's won one, lost one.
Huge. I mean, listen, I think for those of us that had a little Corey sprinkle and potentially getting out of the group, we need Cam Young to lose, but he has been unreal through these first 2 matches, and he's playing Sepp Straka, who has really hasn't given much fight. That would be a massive, massive underdog. And I think, to be honest, Cam Young at minus 227 might be the biggest favorite on the board, except for a guy that I am fading, which we'll get to in a minute. But Corey Connors, minus 161 going up against Davis Thompson. We'll see if Corey can at least get to 2-1 and then give himself an opportunity to potentially be in a playoff if Straka can pull up the big upset. The other matchup, though, that I'm going to, and this is a little bit of a Hail Mary, but Billy
But
Ho.
maybe not, right? With the experience of Billy Ho and the way Rom's played so far.
Like when I saw a plus 198 number on Billy Ho going up against John Rahm in a match that if he wins the group, I couldn't help but jump on it. Now, Rahm had a disappointing first round against Ricky Fowler, came back and gave it to Keith Mitchell pretty good. And of course, Billy Ho had tied with Keith Mitchell right now. But Horschel is a player that when he is on, first of all, great putter, clutch putter. And that honestly often is what it comes down to in match play. But I mean, I think John Rahm has been just erratic enough to open up a few opportunities for Billy Ho to stay in this. And honestly, if it comes down to those final few holes, I think Billy's got the game to hang in, the moxie to hang in a match play situation. I mean, if we're talking stroke play, obviously it's Rahm all day, but the match play is very different. Horschel's had a good record at this event beforehand. So at plus 198, I thought there was great value on Billy Ho. So I'm going to take a bit of a swing at Billy Horschel as a big underdog in that second final match. And we'll put him with Corey Connors plus 383, just about 4-1 on a parlay with just two matches. And Connors is a pretty good favorite at minus 161.
Yeah, I like the Connors play here too. So I threw him in here at minus 161 to actually bump my parlay up to plus 250. So I got three matches. You mentioned Rory and what he did yesterday, and I was on him. And obviously that shot was shit. I mean, if you're striping the ball like that, then I'm gonna probably ride with you again today. And he's going against Keegan Bradley today, right? Whoever wins this comes out of the group. I think they're 2 and 1.5 because Bradley halved one. So we're going to get back on Rory, throw back in there today. And then you mentioned Cam Young. Cam Young was one of my picks to maybe win this entire thing earlier in the week. And he has looked excellent so far. So tough news for Corey Connors. We can still cash this, obviously. But if Cam Young wins today, Connors can't come out of the group. And I do think Cam Young is going to win. You mentioned going up against Sepp Straka, which is bad news for Corey Connors, who's still trying to stay alive here. So I would expect Cam Young to book his ticket out of the group later on today. Rory as well, and then Connors to finish strong here. All three of those end up being plus 250. And then we get to the knockout stage, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, and I'm just looking right now, just at some of our futures. I mean, the guys that we picked beforehand.
Yeah.
Zalatoris was garbage. He went 0 for 3. He's done. But Jason Day is 2 up on Morikawa through 10 right now. Day's 2-0. That was plus 190.
Yep.
And I'm just looking at this, at the bracket, the way things have come out. The winner of the day group goes up against the winner of the Hovland and Kuchar. Let me just see where those guys are at right now. Vic Hovland, it's Siwoo Kim, but Matt Kuchar is absolutely thrashing. Siwoo was 2-0, just needed to win. He's 6 down through 9.
Ooh,
Stick a
that
fork
stinks.
in him, and that would essentially win it for Matt Kuchar. So what an interesting matchup that's going to be. Probably if this holds on, Jason Day going up against against Kuchar, oldest
What
player
is this,
in the
2012?
event. And then Scotty Scheffler and JT Poston is how it's sort of looking right now. And Sam Burns is another guy that was down earlier in his match. He's now tied with Seamus Power. A tie actually would get him in. He'd be 2-0. So we're probably going to see Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay, presuming that Cantlay can make through today. So check your brackets and get ready for a super Saturday with the 16s in the morning and then the 8s.
You can't take this event away. Like, if you got to move it somewhere, you got to put it somewhere else. I mean, yeah. You can't get rid of the match play event. I mean, I make it elevated and really focus on it. Like, go to town on it. Like,
well, that's the thing. It really has been in the past. I mean, it has been a WGC event with more money on it. You know, it's top 64 OGWR, but just as with everything right now is in flux right now in golf. But I'm just hoping that we can have an epic field in the final 16, great matches on the weekend, and people will realize that this tournament is too good, especially with the rise in sports betting, to go away from the format right now.
Exactly. It's too tough to move away from. They got to keep it around. All right, Huss. March Madness. Looked like a couple of experts yesterday. You hit your pick. I hit my pick. Where are we going? Where are we going tonight? What are you thinking? We're going to go head-to-head, actually, on one of these games.
You know what? Listen, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I was really impressed with Miami last year, and the fact that they're back in the 16s. I think that they are a team that is just going to be a really, really tough out. They play great defense. They've got awesome athletes on that team. I know Houston's the higher seed, but I just think it's too many points. So I'm going to take Miami plus 7.5. And then as we talked about with Jake yesterday, I mean, when you think about the teams that Princeton has taken down so far, I don't think they're getting the respect that they should get for being in the 16 for the teams that they've beaten.
And they're playing a 6 seed right now. It's not like they're playing a 2 seed all of a sudden. Like, already taking care of that.
Guys. Yeah. So, I mean, for Creighton to be a 10-point favorite on Princeton, I'm just auto bet. Give me the underdog right now. So, for the 2 games tonight, I am going to take the points with Miami plus 7.5, Princeton plus 10. And then I'm going to ride with my guys, K-State. After getting the win yesterday, I've somehow just become this K-State guy over the course.
You're a Mr. New York City guy, Huss. That's what you are. Noel, he was great yesterday, 20 and 19. It was nuts.
He was, and Jake did give us a little bit of a pointer to talk about him. Anyways, they're going up against FAU. FAU's been an awesome story so far. They got the win yesterday as an underdog. I think the clock strikes midnight for the Cinderellas from FAU. I'm going to take K-State to make it to the Final Four. They're only 2-point favorites. I think I'll bet it on the line, but minus 133 if you just want to jump on the money line. That's the one play I've got for tomorrow. Although, you know what? I think I'll probably take Connecticut over Gonzaga as well, but I haven't locked that one in. I have locked in K-State and taken the points on FAU and on Princeton tonight.
I'm with you on the Princeton play. I don't know if they win, but I don't think they're going to go out by double digits after what they've accomplished and who they've beaten so far in this event. So Princeton plus 10 was an automatic. I've been all around the total on the Xavier Texas game. I decided to stay away from it. I think I would have been on it because I think it's like 148.5. You can take it up to 149, 150 if you want. And I was kind of thinking of leaning on the under on that one. So that's a slight lean. But I am going to go with Houston here, minus 7.5 tonight. And Houston defends the 3 extremely well. And when, Miami's been on, they've done a lot of that with the 3 ball. Houston is also, and this is how it is for a lot of these teams who are number 1, number 2 seeds every year in March Madness. Houston's a phenomenal rebounding team. And their opponent tonight is 216th in the nation in rebounding. So I think Houston's going to control the glass. 7.5 is still a big number, but I think Houston's going to control the glass, defend the 3-point shot extremely well. And Miami actually allows opponents to shoot almost 57% inside the 3-point line, which is something Houston will take. I mean, they don't have to sit there and rely on a 3-ball. So I think stylistically this game favors Houston, which is, I guess, why they're a big favorite. But I think they'll be good enough at minus 7.5. So for the first time this spring, the Lock Shop goes head-to-head in the madness. And we'll see what happens tonight.
Well, right on. Hey, this is going to be fun. I mean, I did catch the end of the K-State game last night. Pretty exciting.
Oh, that was a thriller.
Hopefully, and by the way, Jake did mention the over in that game, I think, yesterday. It smashed. I mean, ended up going a total was pushing 190. I think it ended up being like 188 or something like that. So interesting to note that the total on the FAU K-State game is only like 145 right now. And it's minus 105 to the over. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully they didn't get rid of all their great shots yesterday, but anyways, bring it on. We've got it out. And by the way, just before we go, full slate of XFL games coming up on the weekend. Is today the 25th? No, today's the 24th. Oh my God.
2 Saturday, 2 Sunday slate again, or what?
Oh, we've got Monday Night Football in the XFL.
Oh my God, the 27th, the Roughnecks and Defenders.
Yes, and that's the game of the week too. That is the game of the week too. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll wait on that until Monday.
We have a Monday episode. We have a Monday XFL episode.
Seattle, a massive favorite on the road in Orlando, although Woodson's or Guardians are they are so bad. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle actually did cover that one and won by double digits on the road. The one bet that I am going to take is Arlington, the Renegades, -2.5 to beat the Battle of Texas against the San Antonio Brahmas. We'll get into that. And St. Louis, I'm always big on St. Louis at home. They've got like a legitimate home crowd advantage. They're putting 30,000 into the dome there. They're 3-point favorites on the road in Vegas. A little less keen on it being on the road, but maybe we'll just go a little money line action on St. Louis and Arlington. And then we'll wait for the big Monday night XFL matchup for Monday's lock shop.
The Oilers play Monday night too. They get Arizona again, so we'll see what happens there. They get the Golden Knights on Saturday. That's going to be a huge game at the top of that Pacific Division. Oilers pretty much got to win it in regulation to keep hopes of maybe first in the division or the conference alive. What do the Jets got going on this weekend, buddy?
The Jets have a matinee tomorrow in Tinseltown against the Kings. So 1 o'clock local start.
Edmonton will be watching that one
here. The Jets will be taking on the Kings. They would love to get a couple more points and, continue to sort of pad that cushion right now for that final wild card spot. And then they've actually got 2 days off, like a day off, time for a practice. And then they've got San Jose on Tuesday, 2 more days off, and then the Detroit Red Wings. So they're rolling Connor Hellebuck out every night, which they should, considering their predicament right now, but they are going to have a little bit of rest. So big one tomorrow for Jets fans, 3 p.m. local time. Odds aren't up yet, but I'm sure they'll be up a little bit later on. A cool bet, and then a couple days off, and we'll get to the Jets' next action, that late one on Tuesday, with our big Tuesday episode, which is always packed with NHL content.
And we'll talk to little XFL when I see you on Monday, buddy. Have a good weekend.
MNF XFL style. I can't wait.